Anyone? Headache, okay. Hives. Any other ways that you've noticed? Being tired? I think we can all relate. Your shoulders go like this, and you make it the whole day, and you're like, I don't even know why I like this. I'm probably stressed out. Okay.
I can't sustain focus.
It's hard to focus. Absolutely. Any other ways that stress, those little signs to tell you, by the way, you're probably really stressed right now? Clench your teeth. So for me, it's tightness in my chest, or I can feel it in my stomach. So when I first became a principal, every time I was going to address my faculty, I would have a stomach ache. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't beat this stomach ache. And as soon as the faculty meeting was over, I was fine. So then I had to work on those tools in my toolkit to do that before my faculty meetings until I felt more comfortable. And sometimes I still get the tummy ache, and I'm like, it's just because I'm having a faculty meeting this morning, and I just don't know if something's going to come up that I didn't expect. So when we listen to those small signs and we pay attention to those little indicators that our body is telling us that we're stressed out, oftentimes if we have those tools in our toolkit to address them, then we're able to regulate our emotions, and then that impacts how we communicate with others. So the last part of self-awareness is knowing how we are communicating in that emotion to others. Because if we're happy, we might communicate one way, and if we're stressed or overwhelmed, we might communicate a different way. So maybe when we're happy, we have all these pleasantries in our email, and we walk down the hallway skipping, and everyone knows I'm having a good day. And maybe when I'm overwhelmed or stressed, I'm really curt, and I cut my eyes, and everyone knows, don't talk to her, she's having a bad day, right? So how do you show up when you are happy? How will people around you know that you are happy based on how you are communicating to them? What are some of the things that you know in your mind, okay, I know that this is what I do when I'm happy? Smiling, okay. You take more time for relationship, like small talk, okay. Any other ways that we know in our communication with others that we're happy or in a positive mood? Okay. What about, and I know none of you can relate, when you're overwhelmed or stressed? How do you show up in your communication sometimes when you're feeling that way? Quiet. Don't talk to me, and I'm not going to talk to you. I don't contribute, she says. Any other ways that we show up in our communication with others? Short with people? Okay. Why do you think it's important?
Abrupt. I had a student one morning. I had a rough morning, and hey, you're not really cheerful. And I was like, I'm really good. So
really abrupt, and the students were able to tell right away. Understood. So why do you think it's important that we know how our communication changes based on our mood? Why do you think that's important? It impacts the people around us. So the first part of being a mindful leader is we paid attention to the emotions that we're in. We're checking ourselves throughout the day. And that's why my clients, I'm always just like, did you do your emotional check-ins today? Did you figure out what feelings you were feeling when you were moving through it? Right? Because once you identify the emotion, you're paying attention to if your body is showing you that you need to pause for a moment as well, but then you're also able to identify in your interactions with others and catch yourself. Because if you're curt, you're like, man, I was kind of short with her. Am I stressed out about that? And then you realize it was that email that teacher sent you 2 hours ago. And you were like, what? And you didn't even realize, right? But if you don't stop to check, then you're missing the self-awareness part. So it's important that we start with self, and much like the airplane analogy, we put the mask on ourselves first before we worry about everyone else. So the self-awareness is the first step to being a mindful leader, because you can't create a workplace culture unless you yourself are aware of your emotions and moving through them in a healthy way and using tools in your toolkit to navigate your own field.